There is absolutely no denying that Battlefield 2042 has had one incredibly rocky start, and all I can really feel in my non-existent ginger soul at this point is frustration. And that's because I really want to love Battlefield 2042. Under the veil of bugs, glitches, performance issues, balance choices, and missing features, there's a game here that I genuinely think could be a great time. Hell, I'm still having fun for the most part. There are, design decisions that I don't necessarily agree with, and there are bugs that really take you out of the immersion sometimes forcibly, but I still find myself logging in and having a reasonably good time without fail. When I look past all the issues, I like the game that's there, I like the foundation, but I just want to love the game as a Battlefield fan. But right now, I'm frustrated. I'm frustrated that the game released this way, and I'm frustrated that we have been in this exact position before, and we seem to have gone straight back to square one. At this point, I'm just tired of it happening. G'day there once again, viewers, your mate Kamikaze78 here, and today, let's have an honest chat about Battlefield 2042 and the state of the franchise as a whole. Out of the gate, I need to clear the air on something here, guys, because in my first impressions video we did at the start of the early access period for the game, I made a pretty clear note that I thought that this was one of the smoothest launches that we had seen out of a Battlefield game in a long time. And look, for the first 6 to 8 hours that I had in-game prior to that video, I stand by those remarks. I was one of the lucky few who was able to dodge a lot of the bugs, and this was before things like hovercraft were unlocked by the majority of the players. It took a significant amount of time for the bugs to hit me, but now that they have, my opinions have changed significantly from my initial experiences. Just wanted to clear that up and be fully transparent with you guys, because I know that some of you may be scratching your head out there if you've seen both of these videos now. But anyway, there is no denying that DICE has a Herculean task on their hands when it comes to Battlefield 2042 in the coming weeks. The trust of the community has been damaged, and for some, I don't think that trust will ever return unless some serious work is done within the next month or so. Hell, maybe it'll even take 6 months to a year's worth of work to get there. Who knows? But for this game to have a chance at maintaining a player base for the long run, DICE now have a laundry list of issues that need to be addressed before the month is out. And this element of distrust, well, it can be seen in action on Steam right now, with the game sitting at a mostly negative review rating. I mean, hell, if I recall correctly, this game has the second worst rating of all of 2021 releases on Steam. Now, I'll be 100% honest. I was a bit taken aback by the reviews at first, and there was some on there that I think are definitely being done under the proviso of riding the hate wave. We gamers do it all the time. But I think the majority do come from an incredibly disappointed fan base that the game has launched in the state that it has. Even if you ignore the controversial design decisions like specialists, the fact that the game is broken right now and missing some key features is where the majority of the outrage is pointed. Now, I personally don't think that the game deserves that rating on the basis of its gameplay loop alone, but the stability, the performance, and the bugs, that can't be defended. And to my fellow gamers out there who are still enjoying the game, I'm right there with you, and you are allowed to enjoy it. Hell, there were people out there enjoying No Man's Sky when it first came out, but we all have a duty to hold something accountable. You can have all the fun you want with it. It doesn't change the fact that a game that costs this much probably should have had way more time in the oven to release in a better state. And even though I'm still having fun with the game, the honeymoon stage of the game has certainly worn off, and with that, the game is starting to get just that little bit repetitive, and that right there is something I never thought I would say a week out of the early access launch, because, well, Portal is a part of this game. I knew going into this game that All Out Warfare was only going to have 2 game modes on 7 maps. I knew that, but I also knew that Portal was going to allow for a plethora of experiences to exist. And while the player base is going crazy with Portal, creating a whole bunch of different experiences that can be played in Battlefield right now, Portal is not currently rewarding players with the regular amount of XP to combat XP farming servers that were being made on day one. Which means that that content right now, while everyone is out there trying to max out their loadouts and unlocks, it just feels kind of pointless. And I get it, it's great to have some fun with. But as a content creator who's trying their best to unlock all the gear so I can get content out in the first place surrounding that gear, I feel locked into All Out Warfare, and with my preferred mode being Breakthrough, there's only really, 4 to 5 maps that actually play well on the mode due to the amount of points on skyscrapers, and, well, combine that with the ability to call in vehicles on said skyscraper, and you've got basically the problem here. So DICE really needs to work on getting Portal mode up and running in the way that lets players earn a respectable amount of XP from matches there. The intent was to have Portal run alongside the main game, not be a secondary experience that doesn't offer as much incentives to play with. So, on top of the game being kinda busted right now, we only really have 2/3 of the experience to enjoy in a meaningful way as far as progression is concerned, and I have already made my thoughts clear on Hazard Zone, so I won't dive any further there. Now, another thing I want to quickly address here too, guys, is this list that's been doing the rounds on social media and Reddit, because I have some thoughts about this thing. Yes, some of the things on here are incredibly valid. Things like the lack of persistent lobbies, that really needs to get sorted out soon. The lack of player stat pages, the lack of a scoreboard, the lack of UI customization, no crouch sprinting, no scope zeroing, all fair points, and there's a myriad of them on the list. And it's kind of damning for the game in some ways too, and is a true representation of just why the game does feel unfinished to so many people. In saying that though, there are some things here that are just taking jabs for the sake of taking jabs. Seriously, no behemoths, no explosion knockback, no game-changing levolution. These are all features that, if I remember correctly, were viewed upon in such negative ways when they made their way to the games in previous installments. I mean, Levolution flat out made maps worse in some places. I get it, we're trying to make a point that content is straight up missing from the game by comparison to previous installments, but an argument loses a little validity for me when you start reaching for stuff like that to make a return when they were features that in a lot of ways negatively affected gameplay beyond the first few occasions of them happening in game. I mean, I think it's pretty clear why player emblems haven't returned. And I'll be honest, I think the community have themselves to thank for that one. I feel absolutely no empathy for that being removed from the game. Anyway, I could spend all the time in the world going over the issues in the game right now and this list, but let's be real, every creator and their dog has gone over them in great detail so far as it stands. So I don't think we really need to dwell on it any further here. We all know what the problems are. Hell, I think DICE even know what the problems are now. I mean, they've been watching social media. I think they now know what the problems are. And I also think that we can now realistically look at which one of the problems that are more gameplay orientated are actually going to get changed and which ones are too ingrained into the design philosophy of this game. What is worth highlighting though is actually some good news. DICE developers have been incredibly vocal and communicative since the game's release in some respects, keeping in touch with the community and letting us know that issues have either been identified and even some have been fixed behind closed doors at this stage. They're just waiting for a patch to go out. For example, weapon bloom is set to be addressed in the next major game update as it is currently bugged on some weapons and not others. The glitch that stops you reviving an ally if they're touching the wrong piece of geometry is now apparently fixed behind closed doors as well. The glitch that lets you get stuck in a down state has also got a fix on the way. The devs are aware of an imbalance when it comes to the hovercraft, and they plan to give it a lighter armor suite and reduce its weaponry damage across the board. They also plan on making sure that hovercraft's front windshields can be pierced by regular small arms fire, and there are 2 major updates set to come out in the next 30 days. So what I'm really hoping to see here is a patch that quickly addresses a lot of these pretty major bugs, issues and gameplay imbalances out of the gate, and then a follow-up patch that hopefully just looks to add some really basic stuff like a scoreboard, a better UI flow, improvements to weaponry customization, UI customization options, stuff like that as time goes on. As far as content is concerned, we are unfortunately going to be stuck with the maps and weapons that we have now, and I say unfortunately because as we all know, there aren't a lot of weapons available in Battlefield 2042 right now, and the weapon bloom issues are only accenting that problem right now by making some weapons just incredibly powerful over others. You know, variety is the spice of life, and right now there just isn't a lot of it that is viable in the game. But even with the bloom mechanics being sorted out soon, it is going to be a problem that I think will negatively affect the state of the game until the first season drops early next year. We aren't expecting to see any content until then, so what we have now is what we've got, and I think the replay value of this game may start to hurt over time as a result of it. Battlefield as a franchise, guys, was really needing a win here. It hasn't had the best run since the launch of Battlefield 5, and even Battlefield 4 struggled astronomically with its launch. Dare I say, it even being a worse launch than the one we have here now. I mean, at least I can physically play this game for a number of hours without getting crashed to desktop. But no, Battlefield needed a home run. And sure, Battlefield hasn't been known for great launches historically. In fact, Battlefield games have consistently launched with issues over the years. Battlefield 4 in particular had one of the rockiest launches in the franchise's history. Hell, I'd even go as far to say in gaming's history overall. But look at it today, and it's one of the most revered titles in the franchise after it made its comeback. But the culture of the game, quote unquote, making the comeback after launch shouldn't become the normal in my opinion. It has been the normal for the series for a long time, and something really does need to change here. The Battlefield brand doesn't have to be defined by this comeback approach, and I'm really hoping that DICE can use this opportunity to learn. No developer in their right mind wants to spend X amount of years working on a title, passionately so, only to have it end up on the bottom of the Steam review boards. And I can't imagine it's the healthiest of things to go through mentally as a developer either. I'm sure the developers themselves who worked hard on this game for so many years didn't want to release it in this state. So I do kind of feel for the devs a bit on that front, and when I see comments going after the devs directly on Twitter and sort of trying to witch hunt them down, I just think that is juvenile at best. It's really childish behavior. It's not constructive for anyone in the situation at all. I want Battlefield 2042 to succeed. Every fiber in my being wants to love this game, no questions asked. Not just like it when it works. And I am hoping that one day I will love Battlefield 2042, like how I learned to love Battlefield 4 once it was fixed. I just hope we don't have to do this dance again with the franchise in the future. At the end of the day, guys, what has happened has happened. I'm not happy about it. I do wish the game launched in a better state, but this is where we're at now. My goal as a content creator is solely going to be around doing what I can to help improve this game when it comes to feedback and offering my insight as to how the game should improve. All the while, I'll still continue providing guides, tips and tricks, and any kind of support for the community on that front as well. But guys, with all of that said, that wraps up today's video discussing Battlefield 2042 and the state that it is in, and the state that the franchise is in currently. If you guys enjoyed today's video, a back hitting the like button goes a very long way. I look forward to covering this game in the long run. I just hope with every fiber in my body that it does end up getting fixed and becomes the Battlefield game we all want it to be. Seriously, guys, I want to love this game, and I have been enjoying it. Just please get us there, DICE. If you guys enjoyed the video, be sure to backhand the like button. It goes a long way. If you didn't, a dislike works as well. You know, love to see your guys' feedback. Leave a comment down below, guys, on where you sit with Battlefield 2042 as it stands. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts on the game. And as per always, feel free to follow me on all my social media links, TikTok, Twitter, and Discord. All linked down below, guys. It'd be great to see you on those platforms as well. Once again, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Peace out, and I will see you guys all in the next one. Take care, guys. Have a good one.